My name is Arjun Patel, and at 24, I never anticipated that my college graduation day will become a moment of quiet vengeance. Standing beside my sister Priya in our matching caps and gowns should have been a moment of pure joy, but years of unequal treatment had built to this crescendo. The memory of my parents' cold words still lingered. She deserved it, but you didn't. Those words, spoken when they chose to fund only Priya's education, burned in my chest. Before I reveal what made their faces pale at our graduation, let me know where you're reading from in the comments, and if you've ever had to fight twice as hard for something handed to someone else, give this story a nod. We grew up in a comfortable middle-class family in suburban Bangalore, India. Our modern apartment, with its vibrant Diwali decorations and family portraits, masked a deeper imbalance. My parents, Vikram and Anjali Patel, were respected professionals, Dad a software engineer, Mom a chemistry professor. We weren't rich, but we were stable, and I never expected financial barriers to shape my future. Priya, 2 years my junior, was their pride. With her flawless grades, poised demeanor, and talent for classical dance, she was their vision perfection. I, meanwhile, was the practical one, reliable but invisible. From childhood, the pattern was clear. Priya's dance recitals drew both parents, armed with cameras and praise, while my robotics club presentations were met with excuses. Arjun, we had a meeting. For Diwali, Priya received the latest gadgets. I got books or hand-me-down clothes. Priya needs encouragement for her talents, one would say when I questioned the disparity. At 10, I learned to bury my frustration, but the sting never faded. My only refuge was my grandfather, Dinesh. During summer visits to his modest home in Mysore, he'd sit with me as I tinker with circuits and code. You see the world differently, Arjun, he'd say. Don't let anyone dim your spark. His encouragement fueled my dreams of proving myself through innovation, dreams my parents seemed blind to. By high school, I'd forged resilience out of necessity. I joined the computer science club, excelled in math, and won a national coding competition in 10th grade. My teacher, Ms. Nair, called my parents to praise my work, but Mom's response was tepid. That's nice, Arjun. Did you help Priya with her dance routine? She has a big performance. Meanwhile, Priya's debate victories were celebrated with lavish family dinners. In 12th grade, Priya and I, due to her skipping a grade, applied to colleges together. We both got into the prestigious Indian Institute of Technology, IIT, Bombay, me for computer science, her for chemical engineering. At dinner, I announced my acceptance, my hand shaking with pride. Dad barely looked up from his phone. Good job, Arjun. Moments later, Priya waved her acceptance letter, and the room erupted. Mom hugged her. Dad opened a bottle of sparkling juice. My identical achievement was forgotten. 2 weeks later, over a rare family dinner, Dad announced, "We've saved for Priya's education since she was born. IIT's tuition is high, but we'll cover it fully." I waited, heart pounding, for my turn. Silence stretched until I asked, "What about me?" Mom's hand patted mine, a hollow gesture. "Arjun, we only have enough for one. Priya's shown more promise. You're practical. You can manage with loans or a local college." Dad added, "She deserved it, but you didn't." The words shattered me. Years of being sidelined hadn't prepared me for this betrayal. That night, alone in my room, I let the tears fall. My 98% board exam scores, my coding awards, my IIT acceptance, none of it mattered. I wasn't enough. The next morning, I confronted my parents. How could you save for Priya but not me? My voice cracked. Dad folded his newspaper. Arjun, resources are limited. Priya's path is clearer. Engineering is stable. Your coding projects are risky. Mom chimed in. We can help with loan applications. Many students manage. Their decision was final. I was less deserving. I drove to Grandpa Dinesh's house that weekend, pouring out my pain. He listened, his calloused hands gripping mine. Your parents are wrong. Arjun, you have fire in you. Don't let their limits become yours. He couldn't offer money, but his belief was priceless. That night, I vowed to attend IIT, finance my own way, and graduate triumphantly. I spent weeks researching scholarships, grants, and loans. My counselor, Mr. Rao, stayed late to guide me. "You're the most determined student I've seen," he said as we submitted my 20th scholarship application. I secured small grants, but IIT's fees were steep. With Grandpa co-signing a loan, I scraped together enough for my first year. While Priya moved into IIT's plush hostel, funded by our parents, I found a cramped flat 40 minutes away with 2 roommates from a student forum. I landed a part-time job coding for a local startup and weekend shifts at a cyber cafe. My parents bought Priya a laptop and hostel supplies. I packed my old suitcase and fixed my rickety scooter for the commute. Move-in day was stark. My parents drove Priya to campus in their air-conditioned car while I followed on my scooter, praying it wouldn't overheat. At the hostel entrance, Mom called, "Good luck, Arjun. Hope it works out." The doubt in her voice only hardened my resolve. My flat was a shock, leaky ceilings, noisy neighbors, and a thin mattress. That first night, doubts crept in. Could I balance 30 hours of work with IIT's brutal coursework? A text from Grandpa steadied me. Stars shine brightest in the darkest skies. I crafted a grueling schedule. Study, work, sleep, repeat. Social life was a luxury I couldn't afford. The financial aid office became my lifeline. Mr. Sharma, the director, took an interest in my case. "You're taking on a lot, Arjun. Come to me before it's too much." His support and an unexpected 10,000 rupee scholarship from my school's alumni gave me the push I needed. Freshman year was a whirlwind. I woke at 4 a.m. to study, coded at the startup, and worked late at the cyber cafe. I studied on buses, ate cheap street food, and recorded lectures to review while debugging code. Meanwhile, Priya's Instagram showed her at college fests and study groups, carefree. Despite the grueling schedule, I excelled at IIT. My real-world coding experience gave me an edge in computer science classes. Professor Sanjay, my algorithms instructor, stopped me after class one day. "Your ability to apply coding principles to real-world problems is exceptional. You're already ahead of most students." My practical approach to learning, honed through years of self-taught programming, set me apart. Priya, meanwhile, struggled with theoretical chemistry, relying on parental support and campus resources. I formed an unexpected bond with my roommate, Vikram, no relation to my dad. He saw my insane schedule and insisted on helping with assignments, cooking meals when I was too exhausted to eat. "You're burning the candle at both ends," he said one night. "Let me help you tonight." His support became my anchor. By sophomore year, I built a small app development side hustle, coding for local businesses to pay my bills. It wasn't much, but it was mine. Midway through sophomore year, the startup cut my hours due to a funding crunch. My budget imploded. Panicked, I met Mr. Sharma, who secured me an emergency grant and a research assistant role under Professor Gupta, working on AI-driven traffic solutions. The job paid better and aligned with my passion for innovation. My app business grew, serving small businesses with custom software solutions. By junior year, it covered my rent, and I quit the cyber cafe job. My confidence soared as classmates sought my coding advice, and I began to feel like a leader in my department. Priya and I drifted apart. She invited me to campus events, but I was always working. Our parents called her weekly, me only on festivals like Holi. My academic success, dean's list every semester, went unnoticed by them. By junior year, my app business was thriving, and I won a national coding competition, earning a full tuition scholarship for my final year. My parents didn't acknowledge it. Senior year brought momentum. My app business, now a full-fledged startup, employed 3 classmates and served 20 clients across Karnataka. I was invited to present at a national tech conference, and my work was featured in a tech magazine. My parents said nothing about it. 2 weeks before graduation, they arrived to celebrate Priya, renting a lavish bungalow for family. I was an afterthought, invited to their gala dinner last minute. "We assumed you were busy coding," Mom said. "Grandpa Dinesh, My rock gave me a hand-woven quarter with Shine Bright embroidered on it. At the rehearsal, the dean hinted, "You'll have a big moment tomorrow." The night before graduation, at a family dinner, my Uncle Raj questioned my parents' focus on Priya. "What about Arjun's startup?" Dad brushed it off. "Oh, his little coding projects." Grandpa confronted them privately, his disapproval clear. I went to bed calm, knowing I'd proven myself. Graduation day sparkled with promise. Priya hugged me in the robing area. "We made it. Bye," she said, adjusting my cap. "You conquered. I survived." We marched into the auditorium, my parents' eyes on Priya. Grandpa's gaze, fixed on me, radiated pride. After degrees were conferred, the president called me to speak. My parents looked confused. Clearly, they hadn't expected this. I took the podium. 4 years ago, I arrived at IIT with grit and a dream. Today, I graduate with honors, a thriving startup, and no parental support. I learned to define success on my terms, not others' expectations. The crowd roared. The president continued. Arjun Patel is this year's valedictorian with a 4.0 GPA and startup valued at 7 figures. He's also the national coding champion, bringing IIT unprecedented prestige. He did all this while self-financing his education. My parents' faces went pale as the crowd gasped, realizing they'd backed the wrong child. Arjun has been offered a lead developer role at Nexus Technologies, and his startup will grace Tech Trends cover next month. The crowd gave a standing ovation. Priya clapped through tears. Grandpa beamed. The president announced the Arjun Patel Resilience Scholarship for students overcoming obstacles, cementing my legacy. My parents stood stiffly as professors, and peers mobbed me with praise. Dad tried levity. "Quite a surprise. Arjun, you've been holding out." I replied coolly, "You just weren't looking." Priya took my side, saying loudly, "Everyone's talking about Arjun's speech. Imagine if he'd had my support." Mom flinched. Uncle Raj added, "You never mentioned his startup, Vikram." Dad deflected, but the family scrutiny was unrelenting. At the business school reception, my mentor, Professor Gupta, and my team celebrated. Nexus's CEO offered me a handshake. "Your AI traffic solution impressed US. Welcome aboard." Priya whispered, "Nexus? That's huge." Later, my parents invited me to a family dinner, but I chose my team celebration. Grandpa and Priya joined me, leaving my parents to face their misjudgment alone. At the family dinner, relatives showered Priya and me with praise, but my parents' unease was palpable. Uncle Raj called them out. "You never spoke of Arjun's achievements." Dad claimed, "We supported both kids." Aunt Mina retorted, "The president said Arjun funded himself." Grandpa added, "You misjudged him." I declined their offer to help with my apartment deposit. My Nexus salary is 75 rupees lakh annually. I'm set. Dad's shock was evident. My earnings rivaled his. Priya invited me to join her and Grandpa for a post-graduation getaway. I agreed, feeling the weight of their past dismissal lift. Weeks later, my Tech Trend feature was published, showcasing my journey. My parents requested a lunch meeting, admitting, "We misjudged you, Arjun." I nodded. "I'm open to a new relationship, but it must acknowledge the harm of your favoritism." They agreed, a small step toward reconciliation. My Nexus job and startup thrived. I moved into a sleek Bangalore flat, funded by my competition winnings. Priya, now working for an education NGO, grew closer to me, reflecting on our divergent paths. "I didn't see your struggle," she admitted. "I'm sorry." Grandpa gave me a silver bracelet from his father, a symbol of self-worth. "Your struggle made you extraordinary," he said. I endowed the Arjun Patel First Gen Scholarship at IIT, aiding students like me. My parents attended the ceremony, their pride finally genuine. A year later, hiking with Priya, I addressed forgiveness. "It's a process," I said. "I won't forget being deemed unworthy, but I'm building a future beyond their limits." My worth, forged in adversity, was mine all along. If you've been underestimated, share your story below. Your value is yours to define, not theirs.